When the man by the surname of Alston bought the land, not only was he a plantation owner and a slaver, but he was also an Indian trader. And he would trade with the Waccamaw and the Chickasaw people.
The story stays. What is your story? Look around you. When you see someone, are you singing the story? When I meet someone, I am fascinated about the story they have to tell and they have to share.
We have a few medicine women over here, Mama Betty and Angelise.
Nobody ever heard of that?
I have two elders from the community that can tell you about the historic Sea Breeze. So, what is it that the young folks don't know about Sea Breeze?
Well, the first thing they don't know about. We had in my day, in our day, we had about 20 or 25 black businesses here.
Mm-hmm.
Everything in here was black.
Okay.
You know, or Native American,
Real business.
whatever we went for.
Yep.
And you know, we went for different things. Some went for Indians, some went for African Americans.
Exactly.
Some went for white. Yeah. We had them all three.
And they referred to everybody as a Negro.
That's my other cousin right here,
Morocco.
Got some of the elders sitting in here.
My mother's the matriarch.
She's the matriarch over there. That's the brother.
We know, folks.
Yeah, that's our sis over there, my kids. Hey, Charlene, Ramella.
Yo.
Talking about remember me when you see me in diapers, right?
I know, yeah.
All
I
right.
remember when you were born, dude. I remember when your mother and father got married.
Wow.
Seriously.
That's
I used
going
to
back.
wonder how they got all them in that house. Because it was only 3 bedrooms.
Right. Talk to me.
So what? Do I have any
Go for it.
communication with who?
Talk to me about our Mitchell family
She
here.
got mad with me because I was supposed to come up there.
Charlene,
Yeah.
I always ask Daddy, I said, seemed like everybody who moved over here in Hallsboro, nobody knew nobody.
I knew everybody.
Well, you was different.
Yeah, so I rode my bike everywhere.
Well, talk to me about our Mitchell family over here, because we know all our family everywhere else start connect. But what about the ones over here?
Behind this hill?
You said
behind
yeah.
The school?
You said this place here even had a name for it.
We used to call it Mitchell Hill.
Mitchell Hill.
Yeah, we used to call it Mitchell Hill.
Okay.
Because Gloria, you know the story as well with Granddaddy Benjamin. We used to live out past 74, 76.
Uh-huh.
Remember, that's where all the land was. Remember all of that?
Yeah, that's where they gave it away.
Yeah, well, yeah. So then they moved over here, and my understanding is great-granddaddy Benjamin gave a plot of land to each one of his children to live over here. And that first plot of land belonged to his baby daughter,
Over
who
there.
you can't see right now, That plot of land belonged to Minnie D. Lassie Williams. She was the baby. And then this next plot of land belonged to Ernest Mitchell. Don't know how they came, but he was older than Aunt Lassie.
Okay.
And then the next plot of land, which was right in here. Where was Aunt Gladys from? Right here. Okay, Aunt Gladys is right here. Okay, and then when you move over, the next plot of
I'm right here.
the next plot of land was Lucy Mays. Which one was it?
Joseph Mitchell.
Okay, so he was the oldest of all.
Daddy was the oldest.
Uncle Petty was. Uncle Petty was the oldest. That's right. He was the oldest boy. James Petty Mitchell, and then there was Joe. That was the one that your daddy, whenever he left home, he lived with in Philadelphia, wasn't he?
We're so closely related to each
Yeah,
other,
we're so
second and third,
closely related.
and a lot of people don't even know that because of all the divisions that's been sown by the colonial powers who came here, and other things too. But I mean, right down the road, and people don't even know you're related. Yeah, so it's crazy. The difference between we just haven't seen each other in how many years?
We have known each other forever. This entire family. I spent my time growing up in that house. This is Caldwell Pierce's grandson, who was raised as a Pierce, but through the bloodline is a Moore. And he ties into our family through the Moore.
And Faithy, and that name I was mentioning to you, Faithy Ann Mitchell, that's one of his grandmothers. So yeah, it's definitely crisscrossed in there a few different ways. A lot of ways.
And then
You remember Granddaddy Caldwell and Edel?
and Miss Edel.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that is where his grandparents are.
Well, my parents moved me back down here from Connecticut. That's where we all grew up down there on Jackson Crossing. That's where all the grandkids was at.
The elders from back when failed to tell us the truth. We have and continue to cross the bloodline.
Intermarrying, yeah.
We have continued to
Okay. All right, Blue Feather. Got her kids, got her children right here with us. This is my other cousin right here. He's over here in Robco. I won't. That's right. That's my cousin from Robco right there. All right. There you go. All right. Hey, I'll be right back, y'all.
Look at this. These are my two ones. This one is weird. I don't like that one.
Greetings, family. I just want to drop a little line based off of things I'm seeing, comments, little comments here and there of people trying to stake a claim in an area they know nothing about. Nobody wanted to claim our area until we started coming out and talking about our families and sharing information, and now everybody wants to stake some kind of claim. Even our neighbors, not calling the name of the 501c3, came to our event with the organization we partnered with to tell them that basically spreading hate about us. That mess is really uncalled for. People not even from the state have a lot of comments to say based off of books they read. If you've been following my Family Lines series of videos, which I have some more that's getting ready to come out too, you see I'm talking to relatives over an area of 70 miles from the coast all the way in. Because those are all our family members. We cover New Hanover County, Brunswick, Bladen, Columbus, Pender, and we also have relatives in Robeson County and Cumberland and Onslow. We have family members in all of these, in the Cape Fear region counties and the adjoining counties. We're connected to all, we're connected to the families. They know us, we know them. They know my parents know them. They know my grandparents know them. And I'm just talking about me, but I'm not the only one. My people, their families are connected to these families because our families are connected. When I say my people, people from the outside with opinions, you have no idea what you're getting yourself into. The people here, they don't know you. For those of you with opinions about this area. First of all, let me say this. This is not Catawba territory. I'm sorry, but it's not. The Catawba will tell you that. This is not Catawba territory. When it said that the Wokan had a Catawban language, that's Catawban, not Catawba, meaning it is similar to the Catawba language. The two have similar languages. That's it. That's what that means. Catawban, not Catawba. This is not Catawba territory. The people here did not speak Muskogee, Ichiti, or any single language. We spoke multiple languages. Something the historians have not seemed to have grasped that concept. That indigenous people were multilingual. If you lived on the southernmost border here, then you had Muskogee neighbors. So of course you're going to be able to speak with your neighbors. It's common sense. If you go a little to the north, maybe about an hour and a half away, where you're dealing with our Algonquin cousins, like the Machipunga and Matamesquite, of course you're going to be able to communicate with them. And the Tuscarora, they controlled trade and commerce. So of course you're going to be able to communicate with them. And when you're talking about the Cusabo province, don't forget the Carolinas was considered a part of Barbados, under the same governorship, under the same Lord proprietors. So multiple languages were spoken in this area, but see, the historians try to put everybody in a box. If they find a clay shard that's Algonquin, well, everybody there must have been Algonquin. We're in this area, so they have to be Siouan. They can't be Iroquois, can't be Tuscarora. So they have all these different boxes that they're trying to check off, and then they argue and they debate with each other about us. All they have to do is ask the people, because we're still living. You know, I have to give a huge shout out and thank you, Yahweh, to the family who preserved a lot of the information up north, because they did. And to the historians in the state who preserved a lot of information here. Yahweh to you all as well. Mela Meraharo wrote a very good book talking about the Tuscarora people, but she's not the only one who knows the history of the people. Her book is a great book, a really good history book. And there's others with information about our folks just like that. Keep this in mind. Yeah, it seems like Tuscarora, they're on the blacklist, right? In the 1700s, North Carolina wanted us exterminated. South Carolina said that if any of us was caught down there rescuing any of our people, they would kill us on the spot. So yeah, we on the blacklist, it seems like. But let me say this to all the neighboring tribes here. Tuscarora's language is 100% intact. The ceremonies, the dances, the songs, regalia, everything of the Tuscarora culture did not get destroyed. It is not destroyed. It's 100% intact. How many nations on the East Coast can say that? How many in our state can say that? I'm pointing out certain facts when people say that you don't exist no more, but how can we not? Our language still exists. And the remembrance of our people still exists within us, who we descend from. So how can we not exist? Oh, there's no Tuscarora in the Cape Fear. How can you say that? We know it. The people here know, and the records reflect that. I don't care what you read from historians and what they say, they do not know our history better than we know our history. They're still debating with each other on who spoke what language. Everybody wants to go off of John Lawson. He's the original researcher, right? From the 1700s, the Surveyor General. His job was to survey the land, chop it up, and get it ready for settlement. That was his job. He wasn't buddies with us. His job was to survey the land, say, okay, this portion, and get it ready for settlement, for takeover. That's what his job, that's what he was hired to do. In the process of doing that, he was going from village to village trying to learn the language. Now, this is somebody from Europe who doesn't even have the characters in their alphabet to pronounce the sounds we make in our language. So, will there be errors in what he wrote? Of course. Common sense. There's going to be errors. So John Lawson is the original researcher, right? Now you have people like James Brunt and Mooney and others coming after him, these historians. These are researchers of the original researcher. And every time you add researchers, things change and they debate more. And then they come out and then they write their narrative about us. So you have the researchers of the original researchers. And then you have the historians today, which is the researchers of the researchers who studied the original researcher. Right? And things continue to change. But they're all basing it off of John Lawson. Thank you, John, for the records you kept, but they do have errors in it. And the people who you're talking about know this when they read your writing. And all these researchers, we know when you're making mistakes because we know our own history. Then you have people who are calling themselves genealogists and family historians today, who are all over YouTube and internet, who study the researchers, who studied the researchers of the original researcher. And again, things continue to change. And they start to create narratives to fit their own agenda. But guess what? The families here know history. They know their history. From Seabreeze, they know their history. From San Domingo, Indian Wells, they know their history. All the way over here to Mitchell Hill and Mitchell Field, they know their history. From the migrations from Bertie to Duplin, they know their history. The migrations from Jamestown and from Northampton, to Shawan, all the way down the coast, North Carolina, they know the history. To Martin County, Jamesville, Piney Woods, they know their history. East Arcadia, which I've mentioned that already, under San Domingo, Indian Wells, Buckhead area, St. James area, all in between, Livingston Creek, they know their history. And the families all know each other. Now, a lot of families have gotten separated. Some people don't know their family. We all go to school together. We went to school together. Our kids went to school with each other. And they only see each other as growing up in the same communities and friends, not knowing that they're kin. Because a lot of families here were divided. And see, that's a whole nother conversation. Families were moving out of communities because they were seeking mill work. Later, they wanted to leave the normal schools and go into integrated schools because they figured that was a leg up, better education, more money, a better footing in this economy for their kids. There's quite a few reasons why the family's divided up here. That's why in a family you can have a family of 5 siblings. 3 might identify as Native, while 2 identify as being black, or vice versa. 2 identify as Native and 3 identify as black. I mean, that's just the way it is. We even had a Our cousin had a lady from Italy doing a study on isolated communities, and it wasn't to prove anyone's indigeneity. She was looking at the common denominator between a lot of these communities that identify as being indigenous Americans. And what her conclusion was, the same thing you find all the way up the East Coast, even dealing with the Lenape, even dealing with a lot of the tribes up the East Coast. I'm just calling out Lenape for some reason. Maybe it's because I've been watching a lot of Turtle Gang's videos, but they definitely have the same common thing in common with us, is our families intermarried in these isolated communities to a high degree. And that kept a lot of outside bloodlines out. So, yeah, we did have people marry into our families. Scott Irish definitely married into our families. I mean, we have the names to prove that. Africans married into our family. We had Europeans and we had Africans married into our family. It's a fact. But everyone here, I'm here to tell you, and a lot of you already know, just because an individual marries into your family, 10 individuals marry into your family, that doesn't change your family from being what they are. It may add to the gene pool. Now you have a little bit of DNA in your gumbo from different continents, but it doesn't change who you are. Now, a lot of people here have grown up in the black community with a significant indigenous ancestry. There's a lot of reasons why people got cut off from this information. Even just speaking about my parents, they know quite a bit. My family, they're always saying something that things just come out when we talk. If I put them on the spot and ask them questions, they may not think of it. But then we may be talking about the garden or hunting or, just talking about anything, and bam, something comes out that we didn't know. Another breadcrumb. So the families know who they are. They lost a lot of knowledge about who they are, but they know the connect. They know they have the connection. They didn't know how deep the rabbit hole went. Thank goodness for family historians like Luke Alexander, Franklin Freeman, Josh Freeman, Kevin Graham, myself, just to name a few, Ramella Mitchell, Shep Moore, Uncle Buck, that's Shep Jr., Pam and her dad, the Moore family. So, the Spalding family, you got Milton Campbell. We have family historians that know our history. So when outsiders come in and try to insert their own little narrative based off of inaccuracies written by colonial authors, you stand to be corrected. So when we correct you, don't get offended by it. Learn from it if you truly want to learn about it. Y'all take care. Have a nice day. Please tune in for some more of the Family Line series coming up soon. I do have some family members I'm going to be talking to so they can share from their point of view more about the family. Even as far coming from out of Virginia, we're going to have family talking about that. I got to go tend to my grandbaby.